The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today, all the way from the great state, my home state of Texas, Kinan Beck. Kinan, how are you?
Doing great, Tim. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, fantastic. So you are in the Austin area, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Almost 28 years now.
Wow, fantastic. Keep Austin weird, huh?
We're trying every day.
Right. So I'm gonna ask you the first question I ask everybody else, and I won't let you escape it. Were you the young 5-year-old tugging at your parents' pant leg saying, "Hey, mom and dad, how do I become a realtor?" Or were you like the rest of us where we just fell back into it?
I just kind of got into it. I was in college trying to figure out, like everybody else, what they wanted to do. And I kind of grew up in a small town. I had some buddies already kind of doing real estate in the Austin market. So kind of wanted to follow that trend, got my license, moved up here to Austin almost 28 years ago, and just started working in real estate. Started out with kind of residential leasing, apartment locating, and then graduated from college and then figured out, oh man, what do we do next? This is about the time the dot-coms were crashing in 2000. And I just kind of hunkered down and focused on real estate and been doing it ever since.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Austin, very hot area. Always happened to me, being from Texas, always has been, except maybe when I was a kid. I'm 52 now, so we're going way back. But
Man, I'm 50, so we're 2 years apart.
Oh man, you look great.
Hey, appreciate it, bro. Clean
I
living.
was like this. Okay, this guy's about 35. All right, 34. You're looking good.
I've been in real estate. March will be 28 years.
Yeah, well, that makes
Started in
sense.
95.
You did say that. I didn't do the quick math, but yeah, that's fantastic. You look good.
Good.
You look good. So tell me a little bit, talked about kind of how you started and tell me where you are now. I mean, are you on a team? Is it your team? We didn't really talk about the One Source team, but you're the team leader on that. Tell me about the rest of the team.
Yeah, so, starting out, obviously I was back mid-90s, got into residential leasing, basically apartment locating. That was really hot at the time. And then grew into sales, and over the years, I've done a lot of production up to the point till probably close to 2020. I was married for a couple of years, still am, wanted to start building a family. I've always looked for leverage. How can I get to the next level? So, a couple of years, probably during that time, I was doing about 60 million in production, personal production on my own. And I just knew I was, kind of at maximum capacity. And that's when I started building out my team. My team's now me plus another 10 agents underneath, which I'm teaching them all the stuff that I've learned over, at least educating them on all the mistakes I've made over the years. I've created the ability to be resourceful with leads, my knowledge, support, and training, which I feel is what a lot of agents are missing, whether they've got some production, they've been doing it for a couple of years, or they're brand new. I feel like I've got a system in place to hopefully create some success for them in such a tough market. I mean, when I say tough market, whether the market's busy or not, getting into real estate, as you know, is very difficult. 80% of the people fall out in the first year, and then the 20% left, half of them fall out by year 2. So you got a 10% chance of making it after 24 months. And it's typically a few reasons why, which is training, leads, and support. So I found those as kind of the missing pieces. And that's why I wanted to create a team around it. Also be able to give to them my knowledge and hopefully pull back some of my production. So I can, instead of spending 10 hours a day working, I can only spend 6 to 8 and hopefully hang out with family a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be nice, huh? For sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
So how do you go about, 2 questions. I guess this is twofold. One, how do you find agents to join your team? And are you always looking? And then 2, when you do, how do you vet them? I mean, how do you decide these are people I want to be on the bus with,
So a couple of things, right? one, we've got, we advertise on Indeed, referrals. I've got some other brokers where they're like, man, you should join. As realtors, we always hear, people always hear about agents that have been doing it for a few years. They post a lot on social media. They're like, oh man, so-and-so is doing great. Hey, I want to get into real estate. What do I do? Or I just got my real estate license. And they're basically trying to figure out what to do. So I'll get referrals from other agents that don't really want to take on agents. And they say, hey, call Kinan. He's got a team. He's looking to build. We get some people off of Indeed, et cetera. What I look for personally, everybody kind of runs through my director of operations. We kind of vet them through, we do the DIS test, and there's a few questions they've got to answer. So, typically I don't always look for brand new agents, sometimes it's okay. If I feel like they've got some kind of grit, some sales background, I really feel like they're going to hit the ground running. Look, we provide everything that they need. So if, they've got all the tools and resources to make it. So I look for that to see if I feel like they're a good fit, or at least he does, before I sit down and do the interview with them. Or I look at their past sales, and sometimes I won't even hire somebody that's been doing it 3-4 years. I want to have a conversation with them, which is, why do you think you're not excelling? What do you, it's always where they were that was the trouble. It's never them. And I try to want to figure out, like, hey, are you ready to sit down and do lead gen for 2-3 hours a day? That's what it's going to take. This is a lead generation business. It's not being a realtor. Being a realtor, like, oh, here are the 5 properties, going to open doors for you, and then writing an offer, and then negotiating it, and going to some inspection, and then the closing. That's the easy part. The hard part is the lead gen. And if you're not doing lead gen, especially in today's market, you're probably going to fail. I've been doing this 28 years. And I used to get 5 to 7 referrals a week, and I'm getting maybe 5 to 7 per month. So I'm actually doing a lot more lead gen. I'm calling my sphere of influence. I'm doing a lot of other things. I'm going back to basics. Heck, I did an open house the other day, just because so many of my agents are doing open houses and having huge success with them. And so I was just, wanted to knock the cobwebs off, see what it was like. And some of that stuff, let's go back to the basics. It's working. It's what I look for. Somebody that's go-getter, that's ready to go, or to take their business to the next level.
Kinan, I believe I agree with you 1,000%. I think that's kind of the sweet spot. I really feel that way when you find agents that are in that 2 to 5 year and really maybe haven't hit those goals that they wanted. And maybe they don't understand why.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe they don't even get it. And, it's like, okay, I'm just going to lay it out for you. You want to join my team? Here it is. So yeah, good stuff. So let's jump forward, put on our prognostication hats real quick. And what does the next 1, 3, maybe even 5 years look like for the OneSource team, and some goals there?
Well, currently we're looking to hire a sales manager. I want to get the team from 10 to 20 agents by the end of 2023. And then from there, kind of evaluate and start looking into maybe doing some expansion, maybe expanding some smaller offices within Austin, or going to other areas like San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, which are some of our bigger markets here in Texas, or even looking to go out of state. But it all starts with growing the current team. We've got a good, strong model. And then from there, duplicating it isn't going to be difficult, but I do need a sales manager. That's kind of my next big move. Once I can get that, because I'm almost outnumbered because I'm still in production. So I really need that to help kind of get me to that next level. And that's what's kind of next for this year. And then probably within 3 years, I'm looking to expand into other markets.
Nice.
And then 5 years, maybe expanding into other states. It really depends on how everything goes between now and then. And, if it's profitable. Sometimes some people want to grow to 100 agents and 5 offices, but when you start evaluating if it's profitable or not, that's where you've got to decide, does it make sense or not? And that's going to be kind of the process I'll be going through within the next 36 months.
Yeah, I definitely agree to find a sales manager. It's impossible to juggle a juggernaut, I always say, because it's always moving so fast. And especially if you're in production and want to be in production, it's almost impossible, that somewhere you have to take something away, right? You have to take something away from production or something else at the time. So let's talk about Austin.
Yeah.
One of my favorite cities, man. I love it there. I don't live in Texas anymore. I'm in West Palm Beach, which isn't half bad.
West Palm, I was just down there. Great place. I went to a business seminar down there.
Nice, very nice. So tell me about Austin, or tell the audience about Austin for those who don't know about it, and give us the elevator pitch on Austin and why we should all be there.
Well, I mean, one, it's a great city, and you guys don't all need to be here. Okay, so we already have too many people. We don't need any more. We're very happy with the current size it is, and we
I
would
love
like
it.
it
I love it.
a nice, sweet, sleepy town it was back in the mid-90s when we didn't have as much traffic or a lot of people moving here from everywhere. But I mean, you look behind me, you see a lot of the high rises, and look, Tim, I'm sure that's not the Austin you remember even 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. We're getting a lot of towers, a lot of growth, a lot of tech. So we call it the Silicon Hills. I mean, Facebook, Google, Amazon. I mean, there's just too many companies to name, but so many are moving here because it's such a great city. We've got the rivers, which we call lakes. They're just dammed in different areas. It's all the Colorado River. So hill country, about at 45 minutes to maybe an hour away is, we've got some wine country for us, second most visited vineyards from Sonoma. So that kind of gives it an extra perk, to go kind of outside those areas. And like I said, the lakes and the hill country and the hike and bike trails and the downtown scene and the music scene and it's the capital. So we've got a lot of things that really strike people to want to come. And honestly, it's just a cool vibe. People are super friendly. People are super helpful. And it's got that Southern charm that it's got a big draw. A lot of people like it.
Yeah, for sure. I always kind of go on about Florida getting 1,000 people a day moving into Florida, which I wouldn't wish on my best friend. But same goes for Texas. I lived there. I was born there, but as an adult from 88 to 2009, and basically with a family or getting married and things like that. And man, it is phenomenal how many people love to move to Texas.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like if I had a magnet in my hand, just sucks people in. But I love that comment. No, we don't need everybody to move here. That's fantastic.
I mean, we like a little bit of growth, but not too much.
Yeah, too much.
There's a lot of demand. There's a lot of people still moving down here.
Yeah. Well, the logistics of that kind of growth, as you and I both are familiar with being in popular states for transplants, can be tough. And it makes it tough on a lot of realtors don't know that, how tough that can be, how tough that can be for sure. So let me ask you this question, and this is a little bit of a mind bender, not too much, but if there was anything on a day-to-day basis, Kinan, what would be something I could solve for you that you've been going through? I mean, you may have a utopian, everything may be great, but if not, and I don't like to call them problems, but what are some of the day-to-days that if I just had a magic wand and I could fix, what might that be for you?
Finding me that sales manager.
Oh, well, actually, I might be able to help with that. That might be a conversation we could have on the side for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if that's your biggest problem, that's solvable. But it is. But at the same time, I understand the what you're going through. The hurdles that you have to traverse.
Yeah, and you gotta, you always want to hire the right person. So I like to hire slow and fire fast, trying to get the right person that really meshes with what I need, and I want to obviously be able to offer them what they need, so it works together. I look at it like if you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want.
Yeah, fantastic. So how would someone get in touch with you? What's the best way if somebody either wanted to relocate, or maybe that sales manager gives you a call one day and wants to, have that discussion? How would they get in touch with you?
Definitely a couple different ways. They can always reach me direct on my mobile at 512-694-4777, or just email me at Kinan@KinanBeck.com. I think you can probably just Google my name, Kinan Beck, and you'll probably pull up a vast amount of information on me. Hopefully most of it's good. I haven't checked it in a while, but you can probably easily access me through one of those, but probably easiest way is just picking up the phone and calling.
Perfect. Kinan, the last thing I'd like to ask of you, and I do this with everybody, kind of like the first question I ask you, I always ask this last question. I always say you're the hit record and I'm kind of just the DJ. For those who know what records are, I'm just a DJ spinning the record. But take us out this last minute and tell us what's ever on your mind, your heart, your soul that you feel you need to share with our audience and anybody who may be listening. It could be personal, it could be business, whatever you feel.
That's a tough one. I mean, I got a couple things. You know, one thing to all the agents out there, whether you've been doing this for 20 years or you've been doing it for 12 months, get back to basics. I'm trying to really integrate that with a lot of my agents. It's a different market right now. I've been through a couple of different markets, right? Y2K, 08, 09. Some of you guys haven't experienced it. If you got into business around 2010, 11, or 12, you don't know what it's like. You've got to really retrain yourself. Focus on those conversations. Do you know how to ask somebody for a price reduction? If not, you better learn, because if the house has been sitting on the market, it's got to be reduced, and you've got to get over that. If not, you're going to lose the listing. Somebody else is going to come in like me, educate them on how to sell the property, and we're going to get it sold by doing price reductions. That's number one. Ask for the sale. Before, people were begging to buy houses. Now they're not. Now they need confidence from you to say, hey, Tim, this is the perfect house for you. Let's go back to the office and make this offer. Basically giving them permission to make the offer because you're their trusted advisor. Right. Going back to calling your database, 2 hours of lead gen a day. You already have a huge database. Great. Are you calling them? Do they feel good? Do they feel hugged by you? Like, you know, you're still looking out for their best interest, not just, hey, do you have a deal for me, a referral for me? Call and just check in on them. Hey, how's the house? How are the kids? Get back to those basics. Again, I mentioned the open house thing, right? A lot of people, I mean, my agents are picking up $2 to $3 million buyers by doing higher end open houses, and you can too. Just do it. And then the last piece is, man, just quit listening to all the hype in the media, you know, and just listen to it and be able to overcome the objections, right? I got one just Friday from one of my clients. We're about to submit an offer. It was an investor. We got the property down from 500 to 460. And he tells me about this Goldman Sachs article that came out, 25% drop in 4 major cities, one of them being Austin.
Yeah. And
so, you know, I just did a video on this. It's about to come out today, but you know, what they don't talk about is, you know, our median price was $550 in June of 2022. In December of 2022, that went down to $457. So that's a 16.9 decrease, 17% decrease. So look, are we expecting another 25% from today? No, and that's not what Goldman Sachs is saying. He's saying from the high to the low, it's going to be around 25% for these 4 different markets. Now look, my market's pretty micro, and I know my market. And what you need to understand is, so far it's only 17%. And if I can go out there and negotiate another 5, then you're pretty close to the bottom based on what Goldman Sachs is saying, right? And I don't have a crystal ball, but I can get you a better deal I can today than I could previous to June of 2022. Also, interest rates have dropped 1.25%. That's a pretty positive thing. Every time it drops, I look at my hot sheet and I see how many pendings just hit the market. Why do you think that is? Because there's a bunch of people on the sidelines waiting to pounce on properties. For sure. There's a good opportunity. Dropping an interest rate 1/4 to 0.5% is a pretty big opportunity. Yeah. Our inventory was 3 months of inventory in December, and now it's 2. So like these are all signals of what I think is kind of a rebuttal for that comment of, oh, doom and gloom, we're going to drop another 25%. So it's just kind of knowing what's out there and being able to have an educated conversation with your client, because they are seeing that and they don't know. They're scared. They need somebody like you, a trusted advisor, to educate them and not be pushy, and to help them when they're ready. That's probably my best advice I can give anybody out there today.
Sage advice, Kinan. It really is. That's great advice, and everybody should follow it. And, you know, and even trying to time it might be folly. You know what I mean?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's like trying to time the stock market.
Right. I've tried.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to buy at the lowest low, and you're not going to sell at the highest high. So find the right opportunity and then move on it. I mean, heck, man, I've got clients right now getting 5.25% interest rate with 1 point. And we're getting the seller to pay that point. That's a pretty good interest rate, Tim.
Good deal. That's not bad. Go back historically. I remember the 80s.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I wasn't in real estate then, but God, I heard stories about the 16 to 18% interest rate.
Right. I do remember my parents buying their second to the last house they ever bought was in 84 and paying, and I swear it was 16%. Yeah. And I remember thinking, I was only 14. That's not too bad. I just remember, and I didn't know
credit cards are.
Yeah, what do I know? And now they have a 2%, on their current house. And I'm like, that's really not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I got 2.75 on mine. I mean,
Right.
I'm stuck,
That's
not
great.
moving for a while.
Yeah, don't move.
It's not always the right time for everybody to sell. I've told that to clients.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
why
sure.
would you want to trade your 3% interest rate for a 6? Sit
Right.
tight. We'll reevaluate in 6 months.
Exactly. Kinan Beck, thank you so much. The One Source team, Austin, Texas, keeping Austin weird. I look forward to catching up with you over the next 3, 6, 9 months, see how things are going. And thank you so much for being on the program.
Hey, appreciate it as well. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate the interview. Thank you.
Have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye.